So we do have a couple of questions sent to our chat. We can start with the first one, which I think is very interesting. So yeah, with all the hacks that we've actually featured today, so there's a question: which hack you think moves the needle the most?
So okay,
let's go back to the
that's got a so this is one of those questions where the answer is and it depends, and I hate saying it depends as an answer, right? It depends on what stage your business is in, right? Like if you are a starting brand, hack number one is the one that will move your needle the most, right? Because you need to start building your prospect list and your mailing list. Like this is the first thing you got to do. You're not in a position where you're getting inbound leads yet. So if you are a beginning agency, if you are a small agency, if you've got 4 clients or less, hack number one is the one that will move the needle the most. If you are an advanced agency, it might be your sales process, I think.
Right. Like
you might need to
if you're already getting incumbent traffic from prospects.
Right. And if you're selling I think in a talented way, I'm not a fan, right? Like, but there are talented salespeople. But if you're selling on talent and you're not selling on skill, if you're not selling by a process, that's sort of not very reliable. So for me, I think if you're pretty mature, hack 1, or sorry, if you're pretty mature, hack 3. If you're not very mature, hack 1. If you're ginormous already, hack 5, please.
Right.
Like, don't do this on your own.
Okay. Let's go to our next question. How do I know if I'm finding the right leads? I can take this, but feel free to add in. No, because I'd like to go back to the band process with it. We talked about last time. Yeah, the budget, the authority, the need, the timeline, right? So I think that's it's pretty simple. How do you know if they're the right lead? You follow the BAT method, right?
Okay, I'll take one step back.
Sure.
So how do you know that they're the right lead? A, are they the audience you are talking to?
Correct.
Right? That first. Because if you have specialized in auto dealers and you're getting reached out to by a dentist, right? It is only all too tempting when you're a small business to take everybody's business. But then before you realize it, you're not differentiated, right? So yes, ban, absolutely ban. But before ban,
correct. You
need is that is that the problem you're good at solving, and is that the audience you want to solve it for?
Correct.
Okay.
Next one. Okay, hold on. Does a CRM guarantee better close rates? What's your take on that? Because I'm not gonna say yes, 100%, because it does make things easier in tracking.
In my opinion, so I'll say yes, but I'll justify why yes.
Okay.
Because if you're not tracking, you don't know what your close rate is.
That's true.
Right. So at the minimum, you've got a close rate if you're using a CRM. If you're not using a CRM, you don't got no close rate. You're not measuring anything.
You wouldn't be seeing it anyway.
Right.
You probably can use Excel.
So to me, in my opinion, yes. Right. Like, because so when I teach sales, one of the techniques that I teach is stimulus. Stimulus just means being in their face when they need you. Right. And the CRM does that. It helps keep you top of mind, right? It creates stimulus. It reminds them that you're there. So yeah, I think it does. It does help. I think a CRM does help. I just talked to a prospect earlier today.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize he's the one that told me that he's been listening to the podcast for a year and has been on our newsletter list for like 2 years.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
Right? He would not be on our newsletter recipients list if the CRM wasn't doing that.
If you guys weren't keeping track of it.
So he knows that at least for the last 2 years, he's been a fan. He knows that we have been consistently the leaders in the market, right? So that made the sales pitch so easy.
Right. So much
right,
easier.
Right.
They already know you. And
Yeah. Like a starstruck prospect is a great prospect.
And the answer is yes, because if you didn't have the CRM, you wouldn't know if they were listening. And
at the minimum of the CRM, you're there when your prospects need you, right? You are there when they're ready to buy.
Okay. Next one. Oh yeah, I think we sort of answered this on hack number 1. But yeah, let's go over it regardless. Should I focus on local leads? I think you're referring to like in your locality, or start working globally since SEO is global anyway. I guess that's the way I'm.
There is only one reason to start global. Only one reason. Because you have an existing terrific network of people that are in global businesses. That's it. Like you can leverage a great personal network. That is the only reason to begin global. Other than that reason, local.
Not until you do really, really good.
Yes,
Local.
yes,
in your
super
locality,
local,
and then
super local.
hyper local. Okay, I think we have time for at least 2 more. Okay, I think this is a very tricky question.
Yeah, but I think we got time for like one more. Okay, let's go for it. Let's go for it.
What if a prospect asks about exclusivity?
Oh.
And because yeah, we have encountered a couple.
I'd say this is a bit counterintuitive to what I was teaching you, right? Because if you want to be really good at solving, like if I am really good at solving the problems of quick service restaurants in Indianapolis, in Pittsburgh, in Jacksonville, right? Like, I mean, that's what you're good at. And all of a sudden, I don't think for small businesses, it's such a big deal, right? Like for them, I don't think exclusivity is an issue. The issue is conflict of interest. Like, okay, but if you're servicing all of us, how do we know your issues are not conflicted, right? And the answer to that is easy, by the way. It's your needs are never the same.
Right.
Right. So what if a prospect asks about exclusivity? So I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer. I'll tell you how this is answered at True Logic, right? Like if you guys take a look at the client list I've got, real estate companies, e-commerce companies, the country's biggest banks. Like these are my clients, like insurance companies, largest insurance companies. 3 of the largest insurance companies work with us. 3 of the largest banks work with us. 3 of the largest e-commerce companies work with us, like locally, like local businesses. And yes, it came up, right?
Right.
But what I like to tell them is, I can't be exclusive. What I can be is not conflicted, right? Because I tell them that there are account groups in the business. So that means at least for your account manager and his team, you are their only bank. For that account manager and his team, you are the only real estate company. So they will never be conflicted. Right. I can't say yes to exclusivity because there are a lot of bad players in the market, you know, for better or for worse. And you think with SEO being what, 1996 to current, right? Like being almost a 30-year-old business, you think there would be no more bad players, but there are, right? Because everybody can do this in their garage. Everybody can do this in their mom's garage. So there are still bad players. And so what I tell them is the reason I try to not be exclusive, and I do put in an effort to not be exclusive, is I'm a great provider. And I feel like I'm doing the market injustice if I take myself out and only take one client of that variant, right? So that's sort of how I answer the exclusivity question. And again, if you're going to follow, if you're going to follow our recommendation on finding your niche and positioning your business, exclusivity should not, like you got to learn you have to learn how to overcome this objection.
Right. Because we work with clients or with partners, for example, that just focus on dental.
Right.
Like that's everything. So it's going to be exclusivity.
So although I will say, I think exclusivity is more common to the industries I work with, like enterprises, more than it would be to small businesses. I think for small businesses, they will be concerned with confidentiality. I think they will be concerned with I think they will be concerned with conflicts of interest. But I don't think exclusivity is going to be such a big deal to them, especially if you're working to serve your local community, right? I think they want you to help other small businesses.
That's right. So yeah, I think that's well, sadly, that's all the time we have for today.
Right.
But yeah, guys, thank you
thank you very much.
sticking
I'm
with
seeing
us.
some familiar faces. Terrific to see you guys again.
Yeah. Hey guys.
And we'll talk to you again soon. Definitely. So last knowledge exchange of the year, but definitely not the last webinar that we're going to do. So we'll see you on the next webinar.
Right. Yeah, because it can either be because we'll probably go through a lot of planning as well for 2023. So January to February, we'll see when our next schedule will be. But yeah, always be closing, guys. Remember, for your prospects.
Yeah, always be closing. It's a rule of sales. And see you on the next knowledge exchange webinar.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Cheers.